let's run through how the week has started for us on the US All Spot. So at the beginning of the week, we acknowledged that price action was initially ranging within the $73.40 level and the $72.50 area, as you can see here, where we had a flat channel to work with. And you all know how we do it. Whenever we have this kind of flat channel, we want to wait for price action to either break out of the resistance line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. Though we had a breakout of the resistance line at the beginning of the week, as you can see here, which gave us a buy position during the early hours of the New York session, but that buy position didn't last long, as we saw price action drop to the downside, taking us out of that position with about a loss of about 50 pips loss on that one. And immediately after price action broke down that structure, we saw the retest, which triggered our sell position when price action broke down the support line of that flat channel we identified earlier. We also added more positions to our existing trade when price action broke down our key level at the $72 level to the downside. And with this breakdowns of structure, we had the first position where price moved about, how many pips was that? About 200 pips in our favor. And we saw the second position moved over 170 pips in our favor. So at the beginning of the week, we were very profitable on the USOIL spot. And during the second half of the week, we begin to see some buy pressure resume. And during our live session yesterday, we acknowledged the higher lows in this market. And we said here that we are going to be using this trend line here to guide our trading activity going forward. And what this simply means is that as long as price action remains above our trend line, we shall feel comfortable in our buy position. But we're only going to be looking out for selling opportunities only if price action breaks down the trend line. And if you look at what has been happening here since yesterday, we can see that price action had consistently stayed above the trend line. And if you had followed what we agreed on here yesterday, you will currently be running in a profit at this point. So during our live session yesterday, we had the privilege of buying, had the breakout of the $72.50 level, as you can see here. And then we saw price action retest structure again this morning to trigger another buy position at this point. So if you are taking advantage of a buy position above the $72.50 level, you will currently be running with about 76 pips in profit at this point. And my advice right now is that you want to be moving your stop losses to secure this current buy position. And my advice here is if you are taking advantage of that buy position above the $72.50 area, you want to be moving your stop loss into the zone here so that we can give room for price action to breed. And if you had missed out on that opportunity, we are going to be looking out for more opportunity to buy if price action breaks out, retest the $73.20 level. So let's see how price action plays out from this current structure. So we have another area here at the $73.20 level to add more position to our existing trade. So that is how we are going to be trading the USOIL spot for today. We are going to be buying rather above this trend line. So as long as price remains above the trend line, we want to feel comfortable in our buy positions and look out for more opportunities to buy. And you all know how we do it here. Even though we are looking out for buying opportunity on this commodity, we also want to keep tabs with the potentials of the sellers in this market. So what do we want to see on this chart that will make us change our buyers from bullish to bearish? Well, I would like to call our attention to the nature of price action since the beginning of this week. And what you will notice here is that, remember, we had a range between the $73.40 level and the $72.50 area, which you can see price action is back within that range where we saw selling pressure resume at the beginning of the week, which pushed price over 250 pips to the downside. And for the fact that price action is back into this range here, and as you can see since yesterday, we have been noticing this old choppy situation within that range. Now, for us to be looking out for selling opportunities in this market, we would rather see price action break down the bullish trend line to give us a signal that sellers are gradually gaining momentum. And remember, we are not going to be getting too excited at this point, as we want to wait for price action to give us a confirmation that sellers are actually still very strong at this point. And this would reflect on the chart as a retest of either the bullish trend line or the $72.50 level to incite the second wave of the bearish momentum to the downside. So the only way we shall be thinking of selling the USOIL spot today is to see price action break down the bullish trend line and then scale down to the lower time frame to look out for retest of structure to support the idea of going bearish on the USOIL spot. So going into the New York session today, we have a simple setup. So for those who had missed out on the buy position here, we are looking forward to buy opportunity at the breakout retest of the $73.20 level and using this trend line as a yardstick to guide all our trading activity for today. So as long as price action remains above this bullish trend line, we feel comfortable in our buy position, while a breakdown of the trend line will definitely incite a sell-off in this market. So let's keep this in mind while we continue to monitor price action. If you have any questions regarding what I just explained here, feel free to let me know in the comment section.